Welcome to American Dreams. My guest today is Tracy McWilliams. Tracy, welcome to today's show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, Tracy, can you take us back to the beginning of your journey and your career and share how you went from investment banking into entrepreneurship?
Yes. Well, first of all, my family background is we're a family of entrepreneurs. My great-grandmother came over from Europe by herself. She had a lot of kids with her, and my grandfather had passed away young. And so she came over made her way to Los Angeles. She's had a relative here. And then as an entrepreneur, she started she opened markets in downtown Los Angeles. So it goes way back, and every generation since has been entrepreneurs. So with my career, I started in investment banking. I wanted to understand the capital markets, and I went into investment banking, and I really enjoyed the capital markets and understanding how capital flows. And then I was living in the Bay Area at the time, and I saw what was happening with technology, with entrepreneurship, with companies that were growing, and they're the big companies we see today. I mean, so companies that started in garages and things of that nature. And I fell in love with the passion of these entrepreneurs coming from my background and family. And I decided I wanted to invest in entrepreneurs. And from there, I became an entrepreneur myself.
And then when you went into this world of entrepreneurship, was there a primary focus into early stage companies, or how did you identify the type of companies that you wanted to work?
Yes, it was a focus on early stage companies. I have so much respect for anyone, no matter, and that's one of the things I love about entrepreneurs. They come from all backgrounds, all age groups, all generational. It's amazing. Entrepreneurs can be from anywhere and have any background. And I had so much respect for anyone who just says, "I'm going to do this." And put up, a sign, or put up, a website, or even open a store, and then just are optimist, and they just make it work no matter what happens. They just keep pushing forward. So I had a lot of respect for that, and I fell in love with entrepreneurship because I like the people who have the vision and implement and just keep going no matter what. Whether it seems like things are going to work out, not work out, they just believe it is. And so I have a lot of respect because building businesses is tough. It's a tough process.
It is. When you look at early stage companies, are you drawn first to the founder, the idea, or the market opportunity?
I think I look at for the market opportunity, but really when I look to make an investment, it's really the founder. So through all times, whether, there's so much unexpected that happened in a business, it's the founder that could have a good idea, a great idea, but it's the founder that takes the business past those times. And it's the vision of the founder. And excellent founders are able to get through difficult times. And whether they take, unexpected turns, and they're able to pivot when they need to pivot when they see the market changing. So it's really the founder. It's the founder. So their idea has to be solid, of course, and it has to be timely within the market. But it's the founder.
What kind of problems or innovations tend to get your attention early?
I like things that really change how people live, or improve. I shouldn't say change, how they improve how people live. So I like entrepreneurs that provide services, products, technology that really enhance people's lives. So, some people can say, well, technology takes time away, but it really creates efficiency in your life. And so it allows you to do more things at times. And so I like entrepreneurs that are really solving a problem. And so many people in the world do different things. I was on a plane coming back, as I mentioned. I was in plane coming back recently from the East Coast, and the woman that was sitting next to me, she's an entrepreneur, and she was telling me her next idea. And I thought, this is just going to work. And it was just so simple. And I thought, this is really going to work. And now her kids are excited about it. They're already building her AI agents to help her with it. And so It's just in different she has different lives, she lives in a different place than I do. She has a very large family, and she just all of her kids are excited about it. So, that's when you know it's a good idea, when someone says it doesn't matter if it's a parent or a child, they said, "I want that." So, yeah, so that's what gets me excited is that people come up with these amazing ideas and they have vision for it.
Now, we certainly live in a world of change. And has your approach to early stage investing changed over time?
I think it has. I think it's an evolution, and I think the early stage venture space has changed a lot in the last 5 years. And I think originally you could come up with an idea and you're like, you just think of an idea and all the venture funds wanted to invest in you. You're like, oh, I like that idea. And they just invest. Now you really have to have a built product, or you really have to be a second, third, fourth time founder, or you have to really have hit the market at the exact right time, which is like with AI agents. But yes, it has changed. But the people haven't changed. They still have vision. They're still excited about what they're doing, and the implementation of that hasn't changed.
And what still excites you most about entrepreneurship?
I love working with great people. I love working with people who, and I think one of the most important things that entrepreneurs need to do, and they have a tendency to kind of step back from this, is communication. They need to communicate with not only their employees, of course, and their team, but communicate with advisors and investors. And when it's difficult times, they have a tendency to step back and go into like hibernation mode, and instead, they really should learn to communicate better. And those entrepreneurs that can communicate really do help to accelerate their businesses.
Turning the page back to your family business, when you were working in the family business, what did that teach you?
It teaches you that you have to learn everything in a business. You really do. It's very difficult for family businesses, entrepreneurs just to come and parachute in. Businesses get to a point where they're at that level, but I find family businesses traditionally, you do everything in a business. You learn everything from, especially when you grow up as a child in a business, you learn how to come up with customer numbers. You learn with how to file documents. You learn everything. And these tasks may seem not important, but they're so important to create the business operations and efficiency in the business.
And as you manage your family office, how does that help shape the way that you think about risk, opportunity, and long-term investing?
Well, I think you really have to be I think every family is different, and and you really have to think about what is it that's important to my family. I just spoke on a panel, and this whole digital assets and the new rails for the banking system is starting to take shape. And a lot of families were like, "How do I get into that?" But it really is what you're comfortable in with your family. You have to have oversight. Governance is the most important thing. You have to have risk mitigation, and then you have to decide how your family wants to participate in anything. So it's really important to have those steps in place as you move forward.
Now, there is a lot of excitement around emerging technology right now. And how do you separate that excitement from real innovation?
I think there's a couple things. I think, industries that are taking shape, and there's a lot of them right now. I mean, a lot. So, I mean, obviously, we're hearing all about what's going on with data. We're hearing about IoT and edge compute, and we're hearing about all of these different technologies. You have to see where the adoption is coming from. I think innovation is an easier process than adoption. So you can innovate and that you can be really excited about innovation, but you need to take a step back and actually see where this is getting adopted. And for example, with digital assets or the rails of the banking system, this has been going on a long time. So it's probably outside of, it's been about 6, 7 years. And now the institutions are starting to adopt. It was a little early to come in. So I think it's really looking at innovation along with, can this get adopted?
How do you see technology shaping the way that people live and work?
I think there's 2 sides to technology. I think the negative side is people need to learn it, right? You need to get comfortable with using it and comfortable with how it processes. And I think the positive side is it does create more time in your life. It could create more time in your life if you adopt it and the technology is efficient. I think that's important. And so it allows you to spend more time with your family if it's adopted correctly. So that's the positive side of it. It creates efficiency.
And what are some of the biggest lessons entrepreneurs need to understand today?
Well, things are moving. I think time is moving very fast when it comes to businesses. And I think that is because what's going on with AI agents. I think it even blindsided some of the largest companies and largest businesses. And so you really have to figure out how to compress time as an entrepreneur. And so it used to be, "Hey, I'm gonna start my business today, and a year from now, then it'll be in this spot, and a year from now, it'll be in this spot." And one of the things that I've heard, Elon Musk speak about is compressing time, figuring out how to be more efficient in your time of creating a business. So instead of looking at every little thing, figure out what's gonna create impact and what's gonna create, that for your business, and just step up and do that first, and create that in chunks, like, I need to set up my website, or I need to hire, a revenue officer, and those are gonna be extremely impactful instead of, figuring out all the paperwork, that's perfect over time. Yeah.
Well, Tracy, it's been a pleasure to have you with us today here on American Dreams, and I'm sure there's a lot of listeners who say, "Hey, how do I reach Tracy and share my insight with her?" Is there a process that you have entrepreneurs go through in order for them to reach out to you and contact you?
Well, I think if they go to Inspire Global Ventures, they can fill out a form there and submit. Or I have my own Tracy McWilliams. They can go there, and obviously with all the search engines now, I come up on that, so they can go and access it there, fill out form.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you being with us today here on American Dreams.